welcome back. Today we have another product from one of our sponsors, Hansshow, and this time it is a LED light strip with blind spot detection. Also, I guess when you use the turn signal. So I have the instructions, which in the box you can see lots of wiring harness, some little connectors, etc. And there was also the QR code to get to these instructions and print them out. I've read through this. Looks like there's a fair amount of items that need to be removed, plastic-wise, interior trim pieces, and then, as you can see, a number of different connectors here that we're going to have to install in the wiring harnesses. So I guess first approach is I will get into the truck, and I'm going to have to take that other LED light strip that I installed previously out, because you can't run both at the same time. There's not a spot for both. So I'll probably spend a little time doing that first and getting some things opened up, and then come back here and start up the video again. So stay tuned. Okay, I thought I'd stop and shoot a little bit of video here to show you that first order of business, of course, is to get this rubber weather stripping off so that you can then take this side plastic panel, pull it back out of the way to allow you to access in here where there is that one plastic pin that has to come out right here that then allows you to kind of open up this little door and have access to all of the pieces that you need access to here underneath the control unit. Then we're also going to need to pull down this panel here. So this panel that runs all the way over to the other side, we need to pull that down as well too, so that we can run wiring from this side on over to this side. So I'm going to work on that next. Okay, so moving over to the driver's side, you can see, once again, pull the little end cap piece off the dash. Make sure you've taken the rubber weather stripping off, and then you can take this piece, unclip it, pull it back to where we have this wire connector exposed. So now we have both sides apart, this side and this side, and we still need to take this under panel piece off here and pull that down so we can run the wiring across. So I'm going to do that next. So the first step with installing the LED light strip itself is to put this separate adhesive strip along the whole top of that LED strip, which we will then affix to the dash. So you see I've started it on one end here, I've peeled it back a little bit, and I put it on. I'm just going to put it on all the rest of the strip and then take it into the car next. Okay, so I'm going to peel this off, the backing, and then as I do, I'm going to stick this. There's a plastic lip up underneath here you can feel with your finger. So you have the fabric gets rolled up underneath the plastic lip. It's that plastic lip that you want to adhere to, and then just peel this off and have this adhere as you're going across. Okay, and I try to work this at least a little bit forward so that I can just see the very front edge of that LED strip, because if you get it too far back in there, then you're just simply not going to see anything. All right, and slowly work your way on across the dash until the entire strip has been installed. Okay, good, stop. Okay, hey, the next thing we need to do, and that we've done, is pulled this undercover kind of trim piece. It's carpeted on one side. You'll see that it has clips like this that just simply, will push back into the top. You don't really have to pull this thing way out of the way. It's just down enough so that we can run the wiring harness from this side over to that side. So let's get out the wiring harness next and lay that out on the floor as to how it's going to go in the truck. Okay, this is where the instructions get a little fuzzy from Hansshow. And I'll try to explain what I think is the case before installing. This is a power tap wire, so that looks to me like it's going over in the passenger side footwell where I've got power taps for other things. It comes into kind of this central box. Coming out of it is this line here that actually runs up to the LED wire strip. And then we have this line that runs over to the ECU. So that's depicted in the instructions. But then we have, we have this USB type A line, which is not mentioned anywhere in the instructions, and I don't see anything that hooks into it. And then we have these singular lines. We have the white and purple, which will need wire taps, and that is mentioned in the instructions. And then we have this wire that has like a gray connector, which I believe is the one that goes into the driver's side power connector and then runs all the way back over, underneath that panel piece that we just took down. So that's the way I'm going to attempt to wire it. So let's see if that works out. And film. Okay, so this is the power connector on the passenger side. And normally that would be connected, this line would be connected in right here from the factory. But you can see I've got two other power wires that have been tapped in here. I think one is for my rear view mirror, and then I think the other is for the light strip that's up front, in front of the front between like the parking lights. So basically I just need to take and disconnect this one, probably pull that down right here like so, and then I will tap in here. So let's see, do I have that right? I had it backwards, so that clicks in there. And then this one we will need to do the same here. Oh, again, I'm backwards, turn it around, and there we go. So now we're continuing that daisy chain of power, which is fine, and we've tapped out here to give us power to that. So go ahead and stop for now. Okay, the next thing I'm going to do is pull out this connector right here, and then I'm going to splice in the connector from Hansshow in line, and then put it back into the ECU there. So give me a moment while I do that. Okay, are you ready? Mm-hmm. Okay, so here we are on the other side, on the driver's side of the car, and you can see this is the wire piece where we've run this gray wire up underneath that trim that we've pulled down. And then this one, much like the power connector on the other side, I would just need to unplug that, plug this in here. A second. Oh, other way, like so. And then plug this connector in here, and then put that in line there, and just tuck all these kind of back out of the way. And we've got that in place. All right. So the last two wires that need to be hooked up are this purple wire and this white wire. Okay. And what the instructions say to do is to peel back some of the tape, the electrical tape that's on this wiring strap here, and find a purple wire next to a purple with purple and white wire, and that you're going to tap one of these into one of those and one into the other. I'll have to go back and look at the instructions to see which is which. And then short of hooking up the strip, that is supposed to complete the job. So now one of the things is there are some zip ties here that hold this wiring harness down. So I'm looking at where I might want to try and tap into that. I'll probably have to clip one of those ties and then pull something up, or to see if I can't unwrap. Because right offhand, I don't see the wires to tap into here. So I'm going to have to do a little, pause the video and do a little investigation, see what I can find. Okay, that's good. Okay, so down here, I did find a purple wire wrapped around, laced together with a purple and white wire. That appears to be the only combination. There is another purple with like a yellow-green wire down in there, but the only one that is purple with purple and white in this harness is this one. So now I got to see where is the best spot to put in those wire clips where we clip the wire with the other purple and white wire here to make that connection. So let me go grab those and I'll be back. Okay, so what's a little difficult here is with the wires wrapped around each other, you don't have a lot of ability to separate them, but I was able to separate them enough from each other, the purple and white separated from the purple, enough that I could slide this wire tap down in across the purple wire down inside of it, and then I took the purple wire from the Hansshow light strip and I slide it into the upper part of this wire tap. You can see that slides through there like so. And then what I need to do is see the metal part here. I've got to get a pair of pliers now and crimp that together, which forces the metal down, splicing into the original factory purple wire, making the metal contact, also splicing into this Hansshow purple wire, and that will connect purple to purple. Once I do that, I'm probably gonna have to peel the wires back somewhere back here so I have room again, because there's not enough room to put two of these side by side. You just can't get the wires unwound enough. But I'll try that down here with the purple white wire, which this white wire from Hansshow will connect to the purple white. So let me get this crimped together, and then I will try to get a spot open down here to put the white wire in next. Okay, I'm back. You can see I had tapped into the purple one there. I came a little bit further down, so I again have kind of a gap here that I've got a spot to work with, which is nice. Maybe really should have come down to this spot, but I think this one will be okay. And I was able to get the purple and white wire into the clasp, and then now the white wire from Hansshow, and then I just need to crimp that together like the other one that's all crimped together, and then we should be good to go to hook up the strip. Okay, the last step according to Hansshow is to hook up this wire to the wire that goes to the strip itself. You can see that I've done that, which the Hansshow instructions now say that is complete. But I don't have any lighted strip. My rear view mirror still works, so obviously the power connection is still good here since I just tapped in line. I don't know what to tell you. I'm probably going to have to send these videos to Hansshow and see if they can figure out what's going on. Okay, now that we have the Hansshow LED light strip installed, and as you can see, I've just got the power wires hanging out for depending on which items I'm going to power or not power. First thing you might notice is that the light is a bit brighter than the one that is the factory light, but you can control it on screen. So that's kind of nice that, like, if you want red, you'll get red. If you want blue, you'll get blue. If you want purple, purple, pink, pink. Now, again, it's a bit brighter of a color. And by the way, I don't have this fully stuck up there. I just put it up lightly, so you might see a little bit of waviness to it. That's just because I put it up quickly for testing purposes. The colors are close on some, on others, not so much. Like that's the yellow, orange, whatever that means. That looks like it's supposed to be orange to me. Now it looks like it's yellow up top. I mean, really? White up there. So not an exact match, excuse me, across all colors, but green's a pretty close match, and green is what I usually run. So now let's actually go for a drive and see how this works for signaling and blind spot detection. I'm just going to sit here in the car and signal. I signal left, and this side of the strip is flashing. All right. If I signal right, that side of the strip is flashing. So that's kind of nice. I get a visual cue here of, the strip flashing. And, I probably should pull that down just a little bit so you can see it better. There we go. There. All right, we'll stick that on about like that so you can see that a bit better. What if I had emergencies on? That's a good question. Let's go up here and press emergency. Sure enough, I got that one flashing and this one flashing, so they do both flash with the emergency. Now let's go for a drive and see if they work well for blind spot detection. One other thing I should show you here quickly is that when you open the door, you do get, at least I thought I got, a red light. Yep, there it is. That shows me that the door is open. I guess maybe it has to be open for a certain amount of time. And then it shows that the door is open on that side with a red light, which I believe is also supposed to be the same red light that lights up if, somebody is in your blind spot and your blind spot detection comes on. So again, after a few seconds, that goes red. I close the door, immediately goes back to green. All right, let's go drive. So one other thing you might notice about the light strip here is it's getting dark at night. It's pretty bright. It's significantly brighter than the factory strip, even if the factory strip is in light show mode or whatever at a stop. Sadly enough, there seems to be no traffic on the street today. I don't know why that was. I got to find somebody to get into my blind spot. But for now, I kind of wish there was a way to decrease the brightness a little bit on this strip because it is pretty bright. All right, I'm going to try to pull up alongside of one of these cars, which should put it into my blind spot, and see if that gets detected. Well, no, maybe I won't because there's more cars in this lane. Nope, nothing yet. Can't get my little red LED. All right, now as we pull up, surely there must be. All right, why am I not getting even my little red LED? Am I not going fast enough? Let's try this. Or if I come up on somebody, it's not the same as if they come up on me. So let's try that. I'm going to have a car coming up on me. I'll go slow, and we'll let that car come up on me. Should surely show up in my blind spot. Yep, there it is. And you can see that the LED strip goes, well, looks a little bit orangish as opposed to red, but I guess maybe kind of that red setting on top of the green is probably what that is. So that works as well. Blind spot detection works. That's nice. You know, maybe we'll go here to the other side. We'll signal, get in this lane, and see about getting blind spot detection. If I can get somebody to come up on the other side. Doesn't look like I'm going to be able to for a moment, and don't want to just sit here and ramble on in the video. If these cars would just speed up when you want them to, right? All right, let's see if when passing these cars, see if we get a blind spot detection over there. Yep, there it is, blind spot detection, and the LED light strip comes on. So yes, on the passenger side, it works as well.
Thank you to our sponsor, Hansshow.